The voice of a king. How to manipulate chi, stay free, and bend reality. It is the voice of a king. The story of freedom. The story that echoes on for eternity. The story of the one. It is he who is willing to sacrifice who they are for what they could become that will have the world. A king lives by certain principles and conducts himself in such a way that can't be ignored. This is because he is a mirror for your own potential. The power is in with all of us. But the question is, are you going to wake up to that or not? So the first section here is direct and upright. Within that we have master the art of shutting the fuck up. Learning and listening to be still is key. Through the silence, we can become wise. Through the silence, we can become receptive to the truth. Being silent opens new pathways in our brain that normally wouldn't be there when we're talking all the time. It activates something called the default mode network in our brain. This is basically a system that, when we're on autopilot, it relaxes and works on solving problems in the background. You see, we're inundated with a plethora of information these days. If we're constantly taking things in without actually processing it, we're just going to become human filing cabinets who are starving for wisdom but have a lot of knowledge. See, knowledge is not power. It's only when you apply it that it becomes power and wisdom. Rarely do we stop and think about what we actually learn. There is a clear lack of deep thought and devotion to excellence. Become a light, not a shadow. Processing what we know leads to wisdom. Next we have learn how to bend reality. The concept of alchemizing unwanted energy into something that you actually want and something that is generative. This can be done through patience and practice. For example, if somebody is giving you some type of negative energy, don't be reactive, just observe it. Then you'd be able to direct it towards them in a positive way by being grounded in principles and truth, having the other person's best interest in mind. Know what you stand for, being guided by your own principles, your own values, your own moral system. If you don't know what you stand for, you will fall for anything. Filtering all your decisions, your choices, through your value system, through things that are important to you, your standards, all this will help guide your direction. Let's do bending reality. It's not that you attract what you want, it's that you attract who you are. Meaning, everybody wants things. Everybody wants health, wealth, relationships, but it's not until you become that type of person that is capable of handling them that you actually have it in the long term. Because these things, they don't just happen. They require certain character traits, certain habits, certain practices. Until you become that, it's not going to happen. Becoming more aware of what you're watching, what you're listening to, who you're hanging around. All these things are going to make up our own realities in some type of way. So we're not just products of our environment, we are creators of our environment. So proactively putting ourselves in empowering situations will help that. Next up, we have conscious language. So being aware of your thoughts, your words, how you say things. Over time, you literally begin to speak things into existence. So be aware of complaining, doubting, all these things that kind of bring your energy down. Stay away from that as much as possible. Next, we have gratitude. What you appreciate appreciates. What you focus on tends to expand. The more grateful you are for something, the more likely you are to have it. You see, when we have people in our lives that we are perhaps jealous of, that they have what we want, and we come at them with that type of energy, we don't realize that we're never going to get that thing. Because we can't go from the bottom of that type of energy. Meaning that we have to celebrate the thing that we want. Like, how do we expect to get what we want if we're throwing negative energy at that thing when other people have it? Doesn't even make sense. We have to want people to win. And then once you do that, once you get alignment with that type of energy, you're going to start asking different questions that help you get to that place. Like, what actions do I need to take? Who do I need to become? What do I need to get rid of? All these things lead to generative energy. Next section here is freedom orientation. You see, a king must stand for freedom. You see, they can never be as strong or as fast as us because they live in a world that operates based off of rules. Stand for freedom means to stand for what is real. You will not take orders from tyrants. Everything is birthed out of freedom. It's not something that can be taken because they never even gave it to us in the first place. Freedom is inherent in all things. Sure, you can shut things down. Sure, you can put up certain mandates. But the reality is you can never take the true essence of freedom. We don't play by the rules here. We live by principles. The difference between rules and principles is that rules usually come from the outside. They may or may not have your best interest. They're not rooted on a solid foundation, not probably in alignment with values. The thing with principles is that it comes from the internal. You do it whether you feel like it or not. They are in alignment with your best interest, your values, and your dreams. Some examples would be stay ready so you don't have to get ready. Trust the process. Don't rush the process. Be the change that you wish to see in the world. Also, discipline equals freedom. You see, freedom is not just about doing whatever it is that you want to. Yeah, it's part of it. The thing is, what are your results? If you want to be healthy, wealthy, you want to have great relationships, whatever it is, you have to implement certain practices, certain mindsets, certain habits in order to get that. So the power is truly within our hands. They think they can take freedom, but they misunderstand. It's not something that can be contained. Next up, we have attitude. In this section, we have develop BDE, or big dick energy. This is a practice. This is the practice of developing certain practices, attitudes, and energy. Developing your masculine energy in such a way that allows you to channel your gifts into your woman and into the world. Integrity, freedom orientation, strength and honor, linear movement, consistency. In addition, we have stoicism. Stoicism is essentially about accepting the things that you cannot change while focusing your energy towards your actions and remaining at peace in the process. It's not about denying or suppressing emotions. It's about utilizing them in an intelligent manner toward a worthy ideal. Lastly, we have become a sayer. Everything you say, you speak into existence. Say what you mean and mean what you say. Do not just talk to people to impress, but talk to them to express to them what is actually possible.